So for our lessons today, I want to focus on the rate of change. We already talked about the rate of change in terms of value and time. Of course, there's many other units that we can consider when we want to find the rate of change. But for the most part, it's all about relating to time. Okay, time to time over some other value. With other values. But take a look at this. And we'll talk about this later, but here's another term that I want to throw in. We'll talk about that after we explain what the rate of change is. But once again, let's focus on change. I have this jacket in the store that costs $100, okay? And after a while, let's just, I'm not introducing the time yet, but let's say that this price goes down to $20. So here's your jacket, going from $120. What kind of change did you just experience? Is it an increase or a decrease? Decrease. It's a decrease. So we know that to find a change, we take the new value minus the old, right? In this case, it's 20 minus 100, which ends up being negative 80. And you say, wait, I want it to be positive. It's up to you, but as long as you know it's a decrease in change, you're fine. The reason I like this way is because the negative 80 tells me that there has been a decrease in price. Okay? So, this is what we used to learn. Just simple change. But then when I start introducing time into this problem, I said, okay, in a period of 2 weeks. In a period of 2 weeks. So when you first saw this jacket, this is where you start counting down the time. So when you first saw this jacket, it was 100. 2 weeks later, the price now is $20. You see that? So the whole scenario has changed. I don't just ask you for what is the change in price. I ask you, how fast is it dropping over the period of 2 weeks? The price is actually decreasing, as you can see. But for a period of 2 weeks, what is that rate of change in a period of 2 weeks? So now we have to figure out, wait, okay, so how do we do this? How do we find the rate of change of the price over the period of 2 weeks? How do we do this? So what you do is you take, wait, okay, so the price of change, is $80, right? For the 2 weeks period, what is that time? What's the time period for 2 weeks? Depending on how you want to say it. You want to calculate per day? Or you want to count it per week? It's up to you.
Per week.
Let's do per week. So that means, in this case, it's just going to be 2. If I say I want to find the price change per day, then the 2 weeks will turn into what? 14. So depending on the question I ask, you see it? If I say, what's the price change per week? Then you just leave it as 2 weeks. What if I ask you, what is the price change for per day? Then you have to convert the 2 weeks into 14 days. Okay, but in this case, we'll leave it as 2 weeks. So it's simply going to be what? Negative $40 per week. So I mean every week the price dropped down $40. So after 2 weeks, your price is $20. Which, yes, Jennifer.
Do you have to put the negative?
Do we have to? Yes, because this indicates it's a negative change and not a positive change. And that's why I want to stick with that. Okay? Any questions so far as setting this problem up? So how do I take this information right here and put it into a graph? Well, let's think about this. At 0 week, what is the price of, notice I'm setting up for you. I set this X to be the week, and I set the Y to be the price. Okay, tell me, at 0 week, what is the price of your jacket? How much? $100. Okay, after 2 weeks, what is the price of the jacket now?
20.
$20. The price of the jacket now. I didn't say change, right? So you see 2 points right here representing the price of jacket then and now. If I ask you to plot these, they'll look like this. Here is 0 and 100, so 20, 40, 60, 100. So $20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Notice this is the money, the price. So 0, 100 right there. This is the starting of the week. And then here's 1 week mark. Here's 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, the price comes down to $20, right? So I just quickly do a sketch of that. you can kind of see that the line is going up or down. Going down, indicating that the price is decreasing or increasing. Decreasing. So, a decreasing means negative change, right? And of course, if the line goes up, that means it's a positive change. Notice how I actually read it from left to right, just like how I read my timeline. From the past to the future, in a sense. So as I progress through the week, the price is decreasing. So now how do I take this information and actually find the rate of change? We already found it, but I want to make sure that if I give you this information instead, you still be able to find the same thing. And here's the thing that I want you to do. There's two ways to do this. Think of it as building a house. If you want to build a house, what do you need first? Wood. Before finding woods, what do you need to have first? Land. Right? You need to have land to build on. Is that true? So, in other words, you need to have a good, strong foundation to build your house on. And notice that the foundation usually is always a flat area. Is that true? Do you realize that's a flat area? Remember, since we need to find this first, and then once we have the foundation, what do we start putting onto this? The structure. We start building structure of the house. Is that true? So we have a good, strong foundation. Then we start putting up or erecting the structure of the house. Okay, kind of like that. Now, take this metaphor or whatever and bring it back to our graph. The foundation is actually quite similar to what axis here? The foundation. The x-axis, isn't it? And the structure of the house is similar to what? The y. Do you notice that the y is on top of the foundation? So, in other words, the rate of change is actually the same thing when it comes to giving you two specific points. It's always the change in y over the change in x.
Rise over run.
Rise over run. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Rise over run. Okay? So, if we understand this, then it's going to be simple for us to find. Let's locate our points here. We have, this is 0, 100, and this is 2, 20, right? Remember I told you that we have to find our foundation first? Foundation is x, right? Which two points are x? 0 and 2. Look at that. So let's build a foundation. What is the new value here and what's the old value?
120.
New is 2 and old is 0.
Exactly. So new is 2, old is 0. To find a change, we just subtract it, right? Is that true? We learn how to find a change by subtracting. What about our structure? What is the new and what is the old? Structure meaning y, is that true? Yes. So here's the 120. So of course 20 is new and 100 is the old. So we put it on top of our foundation. So it's going to be 20 minus 100. So let's solve it. 20 minus 100 is? Negative 80. And 2 minus 0? 2. So negative 80 divided by 2? Negative 40. So our thing is negative 40 over week, right? Because this is, the top number is the dollar and the bottom number is the week. So it's going to be dollar per week. So it is the same exact answer, but I just want to make sure that you know how to find it if I give you 2 points. Okay? Rise over run, like you said, or think of it as a foundation is the bottom, which is x, and the structure, which is y, on top of the foundation. Okay? Another quick way to find it without having to set this whole thing up is to go ahead and set up your 2 points vertically like this and subtract both sides. See it? This is simply a subtraction problem, if you notice, and I think you will like this better too. What is 0 minus 2? What is 100 minus 20? Okay, and we know that this is y, this is x, right? And the structure goes over foundation, so therefore we take 80 over negative 2, which is? Same answer. 2 ways. I don't care which way you want to do it, but as long as you know that the structure over foundation or y over x, you're good to go. That's what you need to recognize. Any questions so far on that one? Okay. try another one here, making sure. So of course, what we just found right here is the rate of change, but since we are applying it to a linear line, we call that the slope of this line. And the slope is negative 40. That means it's indicating that the line is decreasing at the rate of $40 per week. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's make it general. Let's say I just have 2 points for you. Let's say this, and I say, just before you look at this, can you plot 2, -5? This is a -7, by the way. Can you plot 2, -5? 2 to the right, 5 down. Okay, so it's right here. What about -4, -7?
Left.
Okay. And then -7, right? It's right here. So you connect these 2 points. Clearly, your line is rising up or going down. It's rising up. So if it's going up, what kind of change do you expect to see? Positive. So that means when you solve for the slope, you expect to see what for an answer? A negative answers or positive answers? Why am I teaching this stuff? Because I want you to predict your answers before showing or working on the answers. So many times people actually look at the line going up like this, and you got back to negative answers, and you don't even go back and check your work. I'm like, wait, this is going up. Then my answer has to be positive, right? If it's going down, it's negative. That's obvious. So now that we have this, which method do you want? Do you want the vertical subtraction, or do you want to set it up the old minus new? It's up to you. Which one? Vertical. So if you like the vertical method, this is all that you do. 2, -5. -4, -7, right? Set it up like that. Separate the foundation from your structure, and then let's subtract. The thing that I need to remind you of is when you subtract, you have to manually put in the subtraction sign yourself. If you don't put in, most likely you will make a mistake. 2 minus -4. Do you see that? If you don't actually put in, you will mistake it for it. What is 2 minus -4? Positive 6. -5 minus -7.
Positive 2.
Positive 2. Okay, this is the y, right? This is the x. And we know it's rise over run. So in this case, it's 2 over 6. Any question on why I put 2 over 6 and not 6 over 2? I want you to be clear. Remember? Yes, Zukri. You don't know. Remember, x is your foundation, and y is your structure. Foundation is the bottom, right? Right, Zukri?
Yeah.
This is why the 6 is in the bottom. You know Bill House? Okay, well I'm teaching you how. Look where you're at right now. This is the foundation. The wall comes after the foundation. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's happening. So wall is like your y, and foundation is like your x. That's why x stays in the bottom. Okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Very good. So 2, 6 is? Can we reduce this?
No.
1/3. And there it is. This is the slope of the line. Any questions so far? We're good? Yes?
Do you add 2 and 4 or do you subtract?
Oh, did I add? Actually, I subtract, but because this is a -4, that's why it turns to a positive. 2 minus -4. That's why I turned to a positive. You see it? So clearly, if you can't see it vertically, I suggest you write it out horizontally to see that, oh yeah, I have to add because there's a 2 negative. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, moving on. Now here's another variation to the problem. And let me see if you can actually get this. Imagine instead of giving you the 2 points, I give you the slope first. The slope is 2/5. Okay? And now I give you 2 points, but here's a catch. Here's my first point. Here's my second point. Yeah. So, what's wrong with that second point?
It's a variable.
Yeah, it's a variable. It's missing. So that means you now have to tweak it some way so that when you set up your structure and subtract, it will come out to be 2/5, right? See it? So you have to force it to make it 2/5. But always think back of how do we set up our structure? Okay, foundation first, bottom, and then our y, right? So let's set it up. Here's is If you want to do it vertically, this is how you would do it, right? Is that true? Okay, let's set it up. What is 1 minus 5? -4. What is 5 minus a?
8.
Just 5 minus a, right? Is that true? We're clear? This is the y, and this is the x. Zugri, which one is in the bottom? Which one's in the bottom? Huh?
Is 5 minus 8.
The structure y or the foundation x. Which one's in the bottom? Okay, do you see that now? You have to do this like this now? Okay, so foundation in the bottom, your structure's on top. On top. You see it? You see how it works? Okay, so let's take a look. What is x? -4. What is your y? 5 minus 8. Remember that we have to force this to make it into the slope, right? So all you have to do is just set it equals to the slope. There it is. This is our next step. How do we solve down? Any idea? Thank you very much. You actually remember. We cross multiply. Great. So we cross multiplied. We have what?
-25 minus.
What?
25 minus 8 equals -8.
Okay, you see that
I
right
mean,
there?
25 minus 5.
Thank you. -4 times 2 is -8. Is that true? Over here, you got to write it out clearly before you multiply. It's 5 times 5 minus a. Question? Oh, question on that one. Good, right? Okay, so let's simplify. What is 5 distributed to each term? 25 minus?
8.
Aha. 5a, not a. So it's -8 equals to 25 minus 5a. We know how to solve this, don't we?
Yeah.
How do we solve this?
You move yeah.
What do you say? How do we move this over?
No, you said half.
Thank you, because it's already positive. How do you add a positive to make it go away, right? So subtract 25, which ends up being -5. Oh, don't forget, it's negative. This is the negative stage with the number, right? What is -8 minus 25?
33.
-33. So you divide -5 both sides. Oops, there it is. You can leave it like that or put it into a decimal if you want. But what is the negative divided by negative? Positive. So 33 over 5. So that means A, in this case, takes on the value of 33 over 5. Done. So working backwards. You see it? Before, I give you 2 points and then you solve it to get the slope. But this time I give you the slope and a missing value for the point. You work backwards to get that missing value. Okay, any questions so far? We're good? Okay, I have an activity for you to work in your group right now to analyze something for me. You kind of know how to find a slope giving any 2 points. So I'm going to bring this up to show you. And let me show you what I want you to do. It is rather simple. Oh, man. Okay, so take a look at this. Here's a sample graph that you will see. Notice that I have a line. What is a line again? Will it be curved? And
It's a straight.
it has to be straight. A straight line, right? I have 4 points on the line. Your objective for today is to locate each point. Give me the coordinate of each point. Is that hard?
No.
Okay. Tell me the coordinate of this point. Now. Okay. So -10 and 6. Give me another coordinates right here.
Five,
-5, -4. Okay. 5, -4. Right. I want you to use the 2 points and find the slope of the line. Is that hard?
No.
No. Once you're done, though, I want you to find another 2 points on the same line. I already gave you like 4, so pick another 2. And then find the slope again. That's it. And then move on. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to keep on doing that for the next 3 problems. So here's the next next problem that you see. So here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. So I want you to find the slopes, 2 slopes for each line. Okay? Use 2 different set of points. And once we're done, we'll have a brief discussion on this to see what you discovered. Okay? Be very careful with the flat line and the vertical line, horizontal, vertical. I want you to see what you have. Okay? All right. So let's continue on this right here. What do you notice about your slopes as you pick any 2 different sets of points on the same line? What do you notice about the slope?
It's the same.
They're the same. So it doesn't matter which 2 points on the slope on the line that you pick and try to solve the slope. Yeah, you might get a bigger fraction, but if you simplify the fraction, you end up with the same exact slope, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you notice that the line goes down, meaning the slope has to be what? Negative. There's no way if the line's going down, it's going to be a positive. Okay, so please try to keep that thought in your mind as you work on other problems where I have a line that goes up and I have answer choices that's negative slope. Then you should be able to eliminate those answer choices right away. So what I want to focus on for this particular activity is the last 2. I want you to take a look at this. What do you notice about the slope of a horizontal line? 0. Because you have 0 on top and a number on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So when you divide it, of course, it's always end up being 0. But if you really have to think about this, The line goes up meaning positive. The line goes down means negative. The line doesn't go up or down, meaning no change. No change meaning not positive nor negative, so it's going to be 0. So that's easy to understand. What about the slope of this vertical line? Can anyone give me the answers? Anyone got to this one yet?
Yeah.
Vertical line?
Yes.
What did you get?
The bottom is 0.
Oh, okay. You notice that there is some value on top. Let's pretend it's 5. The bottom you said it's always 0, huh? So I don't care which 2 points you pick. Your bottom number or the denominator is always 0. Did you remember that if we have 0 in the denominator, your answer will always turn out to be what?
0.
So wait. You're telling me that if I have 0 on top, the answer is 0. And now if I have a 0 at the bottom, the answer is going to be the same? 0?
Yeah.
Think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let me set this up and hopefully help you. Let's learn how to divide again. I have 5 divided by 0. Can anyone help me set this problem up? Where do I put the 5?
0 on the outside, 5 on the
Thank you. Let's start multiplying. 0 goes into 5 how many times?
0.
Really?
Yeah.
0 times 0 is 0. So it doesn't work.
No.
0 times 1? 0. 0 times 2? 0. 0 times 3? 0. Can 0 ever go into 5?
No.
No. Never. You can sit here and try for the rest of your life and you will never find the answer. Because of that, the answer is undefined. Undefined, people? Okay, so whenever you have the 0 at the bottom or vertical line, the slope is always undefined. Now I have one scenario I want to show you here. 0, no change, remember? We talked about that. Okay. So, before we wrap this up, I want to show you something. I know the bell is almost here, but bear with me. Positive slope, negative slope, 0 slope, and you drop dead, undefined. Because this is the clip falling over. It's like, that's exactly what's happening. So whenever you see this right there, it's undefined. Thank you guys for coming. I'll see you all on Monday.